Welcome back to the MartiniWorks Podcast. Thank you so much for jumping in or listening in. It's been an absolute treat. It's crazy to think we've now been at this for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Dang near official.
Damn.
They say if you do anything 30 days in a row, you've now developed a habit. And we have a habit for talking shit about cars. I'm just kidding. A little bit.
Sometimes.
There's some trends in what we talk about. Dakota, what do you think? You got your tongue out, which means I know you're cooking in there.
I was thinking, I need to form a habit of having good posture because someone yelled at me in the last podcast for having bad posture.
As much as I love these Continental stools, shout out Continental Tire for giving us stools.
Hey, Conti can't give us good posture.
I got terrible posture. It's like, ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, my back is
It's
still
a
whack,
little-
and I'm
yeah.
I got that gamer back.
There's nothing worse than seeing a bad posture photo, though, like, especially if you've got, like, a really nice, let's say you got a photographer out and they're taking pictures, you're at a car show, and you're like, hell yeah, I can't wait to see me with my car. I'm so excited.
Like,
and then you get the picture and you're like,
Yep.
it's like, ooh, and then you do the thing where you're like, your chin's in, too. So you got, like, the dinosaur chin, and then you got the hunchback, and then you just look like one of those really tall ones that's really cute, but then in Jurassic Park, they die. If you guys are looking for car parts, not dinosaur parts, you're going to want to check out MartiniWorks.com, the official place to mod your car. We have everything from wheels, tires, suspension, performance parts, and now we've got work wheels out there. We've had a couple sales on work wheels. That's dope. You guys are buying good stuff.
Mm-hmm. I want to mod my dinosaur. Where can I go for that?
You can go to findmysetup.com.
Okay. All right.
We're back. We're going to start this off with a little bit of an update on our cars. Dakota, has there been any major change to your favorite car? And then I don't even think you own anything else anymore.
Yeah, the Supra, I've been
Dead to him.
slowly piecing back together here. I still need to order a side skirt, but I did get the TEs back on with the Extreme Contact Pro 2s. And then I installed some carbon fiber air diverters, so I had to drill into the front bumper a little bit.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so last time we talked about you putting a little plenum spacer in the blow-off valve. We had argued that really served no function, but it sounded cool.
Yeah.
Air diverters, what does that do?
Spacers. Air diverter spacer.
No, what?
What does it do?
No. He's talking two different things.
Yeah.
Oh. I wasn't here last time.
Oh, yeah. We
We're talking
kicked you
about
out.
the diverter valve spacer.
Yeah.
Air diverters are on the Supra. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched the previous episode of the podcast, go give it a listen. Come back. We talk about car parts that may sound cool and might even look cool, but don't actually have any function.
Maybe I
And
was
so
there
we're
for a
back, and I just wanted to ask, is an air diverter like a thing, or is it more of like an aesthetic looking thing?
Well, to circle back real quick, I took the spacer out of the Golf R,
Oh, there's an update.
and it sounds better. I can have Giles confirm. I gave him a ride in it, and it's like, what the I don't even know.
It's weird. It doesn't sound like there's a leak
So
in the system anymore.
Weird.
I'll have to do like an update video or something. If I misled anyone with that, I apologize. I thought it was because I put a diverter valve in my Focus ST, and that made that was completely different. But that's because I was replacing the entire mechanism. This is just a spacer in between. I don't get it. Not worth it. I've gotten some really good parts from ECS Tuning. That's not one of them. Not a fan of that piece.
Gotcha.
Everything else, the carbon fiber and stuff that I haven't even released that content. Never mind. Anyways, so the carbon fiber on the Supra.
Yes.
Spoiler.
That's what we're talking about.
100% aesthetic. There's no functionality to it. It just looks fucking dope. I like how it looks. It makes the front end nice and aggressive. It's a little bit round in the front, actually. The Supra, she got some curves to it, so I wanted to add a little bit of angles, and it lines up and matches perfectly with my lip, so I was super excited. And the carbon fiber weave also matches.
There is something to be said on individuals who know to match their carbon fiber weave all the way around their car. It's a lot harder to do than said.
Yeah, every company does it a little bit different. So if you have two separate companies and you're able to match them up perfect, that's nice.
Good man.
Yeah. For those that don't know, talking specifically about the size of the weave.
Correct. Yeah. So
'Cause
carbon.
you can get it in different sizes depending on who's manufacturing it. There is kind of like a standard out there, but sometimes you can get something with a little larger weave or a little smaller weave. Trying to get it to match as best as you can is ideal, but
Yeah, so I guess that is kind of a surprise. A lot of people may not know that carbon fiber can come in different patterns, shapes, sizes, usually known as a weave, a 1x1 weave or 2x2 weave are two of the most common forms of carbon fiber weaving. But then you can also get like tinted clear with carbon fiber. A lot of times if you just simply ask the person you're buying it from, it'll help you make sure that you're buying the right stuff.
Dude, there's some absolutely insane I remember there was a gentleman I used to work with at O'Reilly's back in the day. And then a few years later after I left that, his name was Philip. He was working at some like carbon fiber. I don't know if they manufactured it, if they like sold like the raw materials for it. But he's like, hey, I saw him a few years later at a car show, and he's like, oh, I'm doing this now. Actually, here's a couple samples. And like he pulled out like a little pocketbook, and it was actually like weaves of carbon fiber, but they had stuff that was like laced with like colored, like almost looked like tinsel. But it was like color woven in with the weave too, and that stuff was crazy looking.
Yeah, it's a really wild thing you can do. I would say I have to give credit where credit is due. I get almost all of my carbon fiber on the Ferrari from Exotic Car Gear. They do an absolutely excellent job either making it themselves or they'll source it for you, which was always really nice for me with this. And we got all the carbon fiber matching around the entirety of the car.
Is that what all of it's from?
Everything besides the air motion wings.
Oh, gotcha.
But we made sure that matched as well. And then APR Performance obviously has done a killer job with some of the stuff that they've sent me on the S2000. It looks fantastic. A lot of times you can see like the blend line on kind of like shitty carbon fiber pieces because they don't actually try to hide the blend line. They'll just put it wherever it's most convenient. And APR does a really good job. It's like on the back, it's kind of hidden away from it. You can actually see this one is hiding under here too, which is interesting. So, Gels, what's new with you?
Not a whole lot. Shit keeps breaking.
Okay. Any new colors on the garage floor?
Red.
We know red.
For some reason, it looked red. It's like a dark. I'm 99% sure it's power steering fluid from the 240.
We tasted it.
Yeah, tasted like shit.
Nice.
So, yep.
Sick.
Yeah, no, I went to move the 240 the other day, swap cars around, noticed mystery fluid on the ground. I was like, what the hell is that? Deal with that later. Looked at it, pretty sure it's power steering fluid. And when I looked at my steering rack, the passenger side near the tie rod end was just absolutely soaked. So take it some seal or something went out of there. So I will not be drifting this weekend, unfortunately, which really sucks.
Yeah.
Because I've never dealt with that kind of stuff before. This car is just a nonstop learning process of just, you're going to do this now. Now you're going to learn how to do this. And I'm going to teach you how to do this. And we're on like step 50 of I don't know how many.
Step 50 of I'd like to be done at step 5.
Yeah, that was the best way to put it. So I don't know. Apparently you can rebuild those racks. A new rack or like finding like a refurbished one is like over $300. I'd prefer not to do that. If I can just go buy like a new seal and rebuild that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what taking it out looks like. I don't know what the process looks like. Gonna do some research on it, get the car back up and running. But god damn, am I this close to just fucking selling that thing and getting something a little bit newer.
What would you get?
Honestly, I'd either get, I'm between just trying to find like the nicest, not nicest, but like best mechanical shape 350Z I could find, or get another RX-8.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Gels, do me a favor.
Yeah, what's up?
Stop making it so fucking hard for yourself.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
You're going from a low horsepower car that's shitting fluids to an actual fun car, I would argue.
Get a goddamn boosted car,
but
bro.
you need to run it at 7,000 RPMs to get the fucker to do anything.
That's
Dude,
sick.
We were next to another RX-8 guy at US Air, and bless his heart, dude is just slinging it, okay? But that fucker is so goddamn loud. And every corner, you hear him just clutch kick that thing to like 8,500 RPM because that's the only
That's where the
range
torque curve
you can
is.
get any power out of
where
that
all
car.
the torque is.
It's like, and then it's like,
Yeah, I've heard
it's just like this constant.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I've heard they're a little weird to drift, but I've seen plenty of them do it, and it looks fucking sick.
I bet you they're not stock motor.
People are sending me ones that are like $5,000 and they're fucking immaculate.
RX-8s are dummy cheap right now.
I'm like, dude, I should get another one.
You know what you should get?
What?
C5 Corvette. All right.
No.
Too late.
No.
Too late. Everybody in the world wants one.
No, I don't want that.
Yeah, well, I mean, why would you want reliable power.
That's
You
weird.
still get
It's
to
still
keep the
NA,
naturally
yeah.
aspirated engine.
I
That'd
know.
be too easy. It'd be too easy to buy a domestic
That's
car.
dumb.
Yeah, no. Let's get the slow, hard to drive,
Yeah.
drift Japanese car.
Yeah. I gotta earn it.
No, you don't. You've been at this for years. You've earned your place at having a car with more than 80 horsepower.
Okay.
All right, Alex.
81. All right.
Give us an update on your cars. Where are you at with them?
By the time this is dropped, we've officially told you the
Are you sure?
insane cost.
It drops
on,
Friday.
Yeah, no, the insane cost on all the stuff we had to do to get the S2000 fixed. Took it to ASM. Talked a little bit about that, I think, in the previous episode. But I did learn that ASM does not stand for Andy Smedegaard Motorsports. In the grassroots community, as James Wood has informed me, ASM actually stands for Always Shits Metals because apparently they do so well in grid life.
Oh,
so
I thought you were about to talk hella shit.
no. All good stuff. Learning lots. Definitely an expensive purchase. Not something I'm going to ever do again.
Really?
And Becca's like, because we're talking about, maybe we guys are talking about what car is next on the chopping block. And she's like, well, what about the S2K? And I'm like, no. Financially, we have to keep it now. We're just so far into
We're
it.
in. We're in.
We can't back out.
It's
So-
negative equity.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think its first event will be in June. Unfortunately, I had to miss Gingerman because of a very terrible issue with the car, but that won't get shown for a little bit. So we had to call it quits. We could have gotten it to the event, but everybody I talked to, I'm actually talking to James Woody as an FC, runs Good Life a lot. Super nice guy, incredible dude, and he's been a huge help to me, like on the mental side of it all, because when it happened, when the car kind of has a couple things that we have to clean up, I was going to try and rush it, just to try to get it done, take it to the track.
Sure.
I bought the ticket, and he's like, don't. He's like, the biggest mistake you can make when you start getting into racing is rushing a car that's broken to get
Yeah.
it fixed, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to break it the moment you get to the track because you didn't do it right. He's like, do it right, get it all the way done, feel good about it, then take it to the track. It's 100%
advice.
worth it. So it's great advice, which is what we're doing. And then the Ferrari, she's back.
What are you doing with that?
Well, it's running on 6 cylinders, so we got to fix that. The injectors are
Sometimes
getting
it runs on 8.
the injectors are getting stuck, and so we got to fix that.
How many miles are on this thing?
13,000.
How does it have so
I don't really know.
14,000?
That's it.
That's not shit. 14,000, but it's been through 140,000 worth of stuff.
That's a rough 13.
It definitely hasn't seen the easiest life. I bet you my ownership with it has been the nicest. It's
Which
ever
is saying something.
She's
Which is
got
definitely saying
It's
something.
got an old soul.
Yeah, I do want to take this thing like on a trip, like a roads, like a country.
Can we put it back
cross-country
on
trip?
Can we put it back on
Cross
coilovers?
country
Can
trip?
we put it back on coilovers then?
I might
Please?
have to. I might have to.
Okay.
I might have to.
Cross
We're
country
putting
is
it
crazy.
We're putting it on airlift.
The more you tell me what you want to do with this car, the more it just makes sense to put it back on fucking coilovers.
I know. Listen,
I want to track the car. I want to cross country trip the car. I want to drive the car daily more often. I want the car to not take 20 minutes to start up.
But
you can do that with air ride, just not a fucking jank setup.
Yeah.
So
not this and air ride specifically, just the setup that's
So we got to fix that, and we're gonna fix it right now. Welcome, you guys. Come on in. We need all the hands we can get for you to help this car.
it shouldn't be terrible.
No, we do have to go through the whole thing, redo it, the whole thing. But it's the right thing to do. Learned our lesson. Got the car to the shows that we needed to, and now it's back.
Oh, yeah.
So I do want. There's like a small part of me that wants to take this thing to like Colorado and get like one of those really cool like nature forest shots with like.
We got woods
Maybe
here.
on coilovers, maybe do like a
We
little.
have some big national parks here too. You know.
Where? Shawamagan?
Shawamagan.
Yeah.
That's
I used
a big
to,
one.
I used
Go
to go to
up north.
Shawamagan. It's
Go
not the
to-
same.
They got elk up there.
Okay, but it's literally a 1 hour drive versus like a fucking 24-hour drive. Just
You know what'd be really funny? Like make it this huge series, right? Where it's like we're gonna make the Ferrari reliable. We're gonna take this thing cross country, and then in the final video, we just take it up to like the park that's like 35 minutes away.
Like High Cliff.
Yeah, High Cliff.
And then in the video, it actually does have issues and doesn't make it.
Can't even make a fucking.
We're trying to make a joke. And
We've made it 7.2 miles of the 15-mile road
we
trip.
talk about this thing is ear-piercingly loud. Like
Yeah, it's so loud now.
ridiculously. Like there's loud cars and then there's this. Like
It's been great.
like I don't know.
can't-
It's like loud.
Yeah, well, that's why you close the valves. If
That's
you
why
need
he
to.
keeps it here now and not at home.
I literally do not take it home.
Was that?
I will get sued.
Yeah, they'll cancel you. They'll find up. They'll dig up
HOA will
something.
kick you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
You got an HOA?
yeah, they're
You're about
there.
to find out if you do or not.
Dude, I had okay, so here's a weird thing. Sorry, not to sidetrack.
No, you're good.
So we send in $100 check every single year for our HOA. And apparently it pays for
$100 a
like
year?
a garden at the front, and then they mow some stuff, and like there's a little like park area. And I'm like, oh, whatever.
Someone 100% is pocketing this.
I will participate in the HOA. Okay. So anyway, there's a new HOA principal in our
Sus.
neighborhood. Okay.
Hate it already.
And so instead of doing things by like mail, where you go and like you go in and then you get your invite by mail, then you go in,
Oh,
you
the
do like your thing.
old-fashioned way, yeah.
Yeah. They have evolved.
No.
Now they're doing group emails,
Holy shit.
They
But-
group
wait.
email you.
but no BCC. So it's just
oh God.
it's just like
It's just your whole neighborhood's
it's
email.
the whole, and I'm like, okay, so first off, I was like,
Okay, so what
don't feel-
90-year-old did they hire for this?
I was like, so I don't feel, first of all, I don't feel comfortable even responding
No.
in this group. I don't want anybody to know me, let alone the cars that I
Reply
have.
all.
They're going to be like, I know that asshole.
Yeah.
But no,
It's going to be like the next door app, but in your email.
dude, it's so bad. So they were like, hey guys, it's time for our annual volunteer like spring cleanup on our little front signs, because our sign has like a Providence thingamajigger, and we're gonna clean, and we're, if you want to, it'd be great to help out. No worries if you can't. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Volunteer effort, keep the neighborhood clean. I'm good with it.
Archived.
I was like, but I'm not gonna respond because I'm scared. The first response, less than 5 minutes in. To whom it may concern.
Oh,
It better be about the BCC.
I have been aware of this quote unquote volunteer cleanup that takes place on my property. Is there any insurance that will be established for these quote unquote volunteers to help keep our gardens clean? The last thing I and my family would want to occur is somebody to get hurt and blame us. Please respond accordingly. Sincerely, stick up the ass, neighbor number 6. And I'm-
That email is the reason the Amish exist. Because they don't want nothing to do with any of that. And I don't blame them.
that's why I'm going to go live out nowhere.
Here's the great news. We have a new neighbor right next to us, younger couple. I think they have 2 kids. They're very, very sweet. Becca and the wife of the neighbor are like very nice, and they kind of like converse back and forth. But at first I was going to text them and be like, you gonna respond? Are you gonna respond?
Hey,
I'm not gonna respond.
What you doing? What
Like,
you
do
thinking about this?
Should we be like Texas and just kind of like just step away from it, or what?
That's what I do. What the?
Nice job. Bucko.
Oh, every time.
Let's take this time to inform you to never move into an HOA. That is the biggest scam in the United States.
Anyway, in regards to that, what's okay? Well,
Anyway,
I don't
loud
even know what to
cars.
loud cars not having.
Oh,
them.
yeah. So when Gels started this, was that with the valves on or off?
I don't know. I couldn't find the remote.
Does it not automatically close when you're done?
No, you have to press the button.
That's weird.
Well, I don't make the rules.
Well, what the
Or
fuck?
the valves, actually, courtesy of
I don't
Valve.
know. Yeah, because it's like a separate air pump for it, so it's not
So
like
it just stays where it's at.
if it was open.
It had to
I
have
feel
been
like it might have
open
been.
because it was
loud.
dude. I had my Gen 2 AirPods in
Bragging.
with sound canceling, which are amazing. Like best sound canceling I've ever had. My ears were still ringing and hurting with that in. Like, granted we're in this steel,
Yeah.
not steel.
You're literally in a
resonated
box.
chamber.
yeah, we're in a tin box, so that didn't help anything. But holy
Yeah, it was.
Christ,
Yeah, it was pretty
dude.
loud.
I almost called the cops.
What I'm most excited for is once we get it consistently and always running on 8 cylinders, just taking it downtown and just letting it reverberate off both walls and just seeing what alarms I can
All
let
of them.
off. That's what I'm.
That will set off alarms.
Between you and Lars's backfire on the fucking E46,
His sounds like a revolver.
You guys are gonna
like
create
his
a new,
sounds like a 6-pistol, just like boom, boom.
6-shooter.
Wow.
6-shooter,
There
Clint
we go.
Eastwood. Yeah, that one.
We were ripping around in Chattanooga. I remember we found that like little pull-off spot, and we were kind of like
Back check.
like flybys, and yeah, it was fucking loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like I was in Atlanta when I was driving near him. So,
Jesus.
With that being said, we're going to take a small break, but not before we talk about our sponsor. Gels, hit him.
We are going to be talking about Continental Tires. Thank you so much for Continental for sponsoring the MartiniWorks Podcast, the first sponsor of the MartiniWorks Podcast. Now, we talk about a lot of stuff on here, but Continental is always one that we come back to. And that's not just because they pay us. It's because we actually truly believe in their product, and we actually run them on our cars consistently. Between the DWS06 for all-round driving, the Extreme Contact Sport 02 for the more performance high-end driving, and even some Viking Contact 7s for the gnarly winters that we get up here. They got it all covered in pretty much any size you can imagine. So if you guys are looking around for some new tires for your car, you can get Continental Tires at MartiniWorks.com. So go do it.
I was on the forums the other day looking at the old marketplaces that were out there.
Ooh.
And of course, I have a wide range of vehicles in which I adore, okay? And I was on Renlist. I was looking at myself some mid-90s Porsches and quickly realized that not even a 401k like disbursement would put the down payment on one of those. And then I'm like, I'm going to go just kind of toot around, just see if I can find something else. Went out to the Dodge Viper forums, classifieds.
Weird.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful. The coolness that radiates from that forum and the jean shorts, I can just smell the Republican from here. And then I realized, wow, these are actually pretty good deals. So then I went to Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, you know what I'm going to go look up? I'm going to go look up, like, Mustang prices. I've been seeing Mustangs more at the drift events. I kind of want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see, like, how much they are. And I was blown away. You can get yourself a little 2-valve, which is kind of a piece of shit V8, Mustang, new edge, for, like, $6,000. Get you enough power. You can put some coilovers on it, ready to rock and roll. And if something breaks, you can go to O'Reilly's. And I just started to realize, am I turning into a domestic car enthusiast?
It
because the
kinda
more
sounds
I
like
look at them,
you've
the
been getting
more
weird.
the more I realize I think they can do almost everything a tuner car can do, except better and more affordably for the secondhand enthusiast market. And I mean that.
Right now, yeah. Because I would say, like, obviously, prices on things have gone AWOL, but, like, tuner cars specifically have just not stopped going up in fucking price. And it is a little bit outrageous of what some of these cars are going. I'd say it's gotten a little better over the last couple of years. I mean, being in the S chassis community, watching those prices do what they've done, I feel like sometimes you can actually kind of come across one that's not too terrible. Obviously, it's still fucking leagues out of what it was, you know, in like 2010. But, you know, where it was at, it's come down quite a bit. But dude, yeah, for what you're getting, I don't think you're wrong in that sense. Where like for the price, you're getting yourself a pretty good deal on some domestic cars, but they're still domestic cars.
I know.
That's the part about it. They're just not cool.
They are cool.
No, it takes a lot to make them cool.
I'll tell you.
I think that's what we're seeing is that people are scooping these things up for a good deal, right? Like they're going and buying like new edges, and they're buying like the SN95s, or they're buying like the C5 Vets or C4 Vets, whatever. No, C5, and they're doing cool shit with it that you would normally do with a tuner car. And they're like, hey, we can also do this with some mods and some things like that, and it's getting it out of its like original element, which I think is really cool, and I think it showcases that they can do that stuff. But outside of that,
all I'm trying to say is the number one most important thing when you're going out and you're drifting, you're autocrossing, you're on the old racetrack, it doesn't matter, okay, what badge is on the front.
It matters.
What matters?
It matters.
What matters is seat time. Okay. And if you can jump into a car that can get you more seat time, is that not the ultimate goal of driving?
Hey, that's like saying you can sit and play N64 and be on the game, or you can play a couple quick rounds of Call of Duty, but as long as you're playing that N64, you'll be good at Call of Duty.
No.
That's not how that works. You're driving a piece of shit. You're driving a piece of shit. You ain't getting any better. This is what I'm going to say right now is I've driven a newer Mustang. I've driven a Challenger. I've driven a newer Camaro. None of those cars did anything for me. They are boring. They are lackluster. They do not handle like their European and Japanese counterparts. They are just boring cars. They're affordable because people don't want them. It's supply and demand, baby.
Dude.
And that's the appeal of them, is that you can get them for cheap and get power, and that makes sense. But overall, there's a reason the price is low, and it isn't because they're the best machines on the road.
Dude, that Challenger was so fucking underwhelming.
That Challenger fucking sucked.
I think the Challenger is probably not the best example.
Okay.
I would
well,
use.
it was in the bracket.
No, you guys are like, dude, the Challenger fucking sucked. It's it was on a nimble autocross test course for tires. Of course, it's gonna fucking suck. That's like
even in
the worst place you could put that car.
Every other car didn't suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the C8 was kind of, the brakes were shot. I got to keep it. Anyway, like in the straight line, it was kind of just like,
Yeah.
No, the entire time.
yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like,
I didn't even feel safe driving it. Like when we were coming, I was like, this fucker's rolling. Holy
my favorite part was Dustin Williams posted just last week that he went through the it was like Radford Racing, or no, it was a different racing school, one of the more prominent racing schools, but they use Challengers, like domestic muscle cars.
that's so weird.
Which is hilarious because Dustin Williams like made his like carousel
Yeah.
post, and he's like, honestly didn't really know what I'd expect driving this thing to get my driver certification, but it actually taught me a lot. And it's really funny because he's obviously not a domestic muscle car guy. I'm saying used market, dollar for dollar, seat time for seat time. I think there are some really great options out there. Power, C5 Corvette trumps all. I would say budget-wise, 350Z is probably still king of like the drift track.
Yeah,
I would
if you
argue.
can find one with not a fucking salvage title and 300,000 miles on it. Yeah.
True. I think the autocross, market is still fit heavy, Honda Fit, things like that.
Dude, the fits have been fucking crushing. Not even like outside of autocross too, like in actual like HPD events and stuff like that. We go to like the track days, dude. They're everywhere. The freaking tracks are littered with Honda Fits.
I never expected it.
I don't know what I missed about like the whole like Honda Fit craze, but I'm fucking loving it.
I'm pretty sure they just realized they can just put the throttle down and just turn, and the car just makes it happen.
They're like shorter, taller Miatas.
Well, the Miatas have gotten so expensive.
That's fair.
Man.
That's fair. They just needed something front wheel drive and not 10 grand, I guess.
See, I will say this. I think for the most part, I don't think the domestic side of the game is necessarily the prettiest. I will say Terminator Cobra New Edge is probably one of the best looking domestic cars ever made.
Okay, but you're not getting that for
No, but I'm not saying. I'm just saying they're not all ugly.
Yeah, okay.
No, I wouldn't say they're all ugly, and I wasn't saying that.
Whereas,
just like it doesn't do a lot for me when I drive it. Looks is fine. Like I think the newer Mustangs and stuff.
But I think you throw a set of coilovers in there. Get yourself a little inline hydro, and you got yourself a really reliable drift car.
Okay, say that for every Japanese car.
Fuck inline
But the
hydros.
price,
I don't like
price
inline
is where I'm worried about. Why?
Don't get an inline hydro.
Well, that's because you had a terrible experience.
No,
and that was your car's
Get a
fault.
standalone hydro with a second caliper. Trust me, just save yourself the fucking headache.
What is the guy? God,
Shrek.
Mr. Bean. Is it Mr. Bean that's got like the big eyes and he did those funny action movies?
Is him or Shrek? I'm not.
Well, what reminds me
I could see both.
What reminds me of Gels fixing his car, every single time he'd go to fix something, just something else in like a near vicinity broke, and then he'd go to fix that, and then a third thing would break.
That's the epitome of
He's
working
like-
on brakes.
He's like this, trying to fix everything at once.
It's literally what it was, because it's like fucking brake systems. You fix the weakest point, it's gonna find the next weakest point. And it's just fucking it's literally like
The whole
I
system's
fixed
weak.
this, that blew up. Fuck, hold that down. Now that blew. Yeah, it's literally what it was.
You guys will have to let us know in the comments what you think about it. I think in terms of grassroots racing, I think the E36 has kind of come and gone in the affordability. It lasted like 2 years, and now those things are out of the price bucket. I think the E46 kind of same thing. Both great driver cars, great platforms. You can do a lot with them. But you're left with a 350Z with a bajillion miles, or you're left with a Ford Mustang that some 68-year-old guy named Jeff owned, and it's got 68,000 miles, and he's selling it for $64.95 on
No,
Craigslist.
I do think that they're good options, and it is cool seeing more people come out with them. I think, as that happens more, and some of these aftermarket companies start to like catch wind of that a little more and start creating maybe like newer parts for them, like more support for that kind of stuff where it's like, hey, these guys aren't just taking these to the drag strip anymore. They're trying to get like actually good control out of these cars. Here's some new like control arm setups. Here's a drop in angle kit for the Mustangs. Here's, this kind of stuff that can like help, like new products that are still being supported, that you can still buy, that you can still replace, to be able to do that. Because like back in the day, like if you were to do that, probably why the reason we haven't seen it so much is like because all that stuff needed to be like custom done.
True. True. All I'm trying to say is Chelsea DeNofa drifted Fox body Mustang is pretty fucking baller.
He fucked shit up with that Fox body this
baller.
weekend.
Fox bodies are the ugliest goddamn car ever made.
He made it look like the coolest goddamn car ever made.
Not only are they the ugliest, they're also the slowest. Like stock Fox body, even 5.0s. I remember being 17, 18 years old, and they were pretty much known as the domestic Honda Civic. Loud as hell, slow as shit. They were so ungodly slow, but everybody built them as if they could just take on anything. They put the big wheels on it.
And they're making like 110 horsepower.
They were making like 300 horsepower max. And literally any Supra, any NSX even, what was like MR2s would just spank those cars all day and night. Nowadays, they're like $30,000.
Watch Chelsea DeNofa like just bring the second upswing of like the Fox body craze again.
Wasn't he drifting a Porsche? What happened to that?
Yeah,
I thought
he's
that
doing
was
that
dope.
too. Well,
he's
did
doing whatever he wants.
He's doing it, and he's doing it really well. It sounds as if though he's running into some like reliability issues with it, and I think he was getting some more parts for it and trying to figure out how to engineer it. At least that was the last time I read
the Fox body was super dope. I was watching a bunch of the videos of stuff with that this last weekend, and it seemed like he was having such a good time.
The LZ World Tour in Canada, from what it sounds like and what I saw, awesome. I saw like Colette Davis was doing actually like really freaking good. Like she's really great all the time, but I think getting that consistency and like more of like the competition space has been a growth for her, and she was absolutely crushing it. Jimmy Oakes had like a fucking kick-ass lead run with Chelsea DeNofa. Chelsea was fucking doing great. LZ was doing really great out there. Like it looked like a lot of good people were, I don't know if it was like the track or the people, but they were all in their element. From what I saw, it looked like it was super good to watch.
Yeah, it looks sick.
So, LZ versus Matt Field round 3. Anyway, we're going to take a small break before we jump into the final section, but not before talking about our next partner of the MartiniWorks Podcast, Fortune Auto. If you guys and gals don't know, one of the big things Dakota and I just discussed was car control, and figuring out how to get your car to feel better at the end of the day. A lot of the times comes down to two big things: good tires, good coilovers. And if you guys are on the fence of getting a coilover upgrade, maybe you're looking at lowering springs, or maybe you're looking at cutting your springs, in which case don't tell us. We'd highly recommend that if you're planning on taking that car to a track or actually trying to dial in some good driving behavior, pick yourself up some Fortune Auto coilovers. The 500 series is a great entry level that you can jump into. It gives you compression adjustment. It gives you rebound adjustment. They're really easy to install. They have over 300 different vehicle fitments, and overall an absolute kick-ass customer service team. We work with them every single day to help people build their own Fortune Auto 500 and 510s. So if you're looking for it, shoot us a message. We'd be happy to help you over on MartiniWorks.com, or you can head out there directly, pick up your own set. And we do want to say thank you to the Fortune Auto team for sponsoring the MartiniWorks podcast. I think it's super, like, the biggest thing that upsets me is when the cops screw up something as badly as that. Like when you look at the situation with the Whistling Diesel videographer, right? Hosts car shows, tells everybody to behave. They get big, probably too big, all things considered. And then these street takeovers happen completely out of his control. And yet he's responsible, and now he's getting charged for it. At what point is the individual that's doing the dumb shit responsible for the dumb shit? Like, why don't you just box them in? Just box them in.
Yeah, they're already in a circle.
There.
They're already
They're
in a
right there.
box. They've boxed themselves
They're
in.
like, no. We're not going to go charge the people that are doing the illegal activity and actually hurting people, and potentially destroying millions of dollars of property. Let's go fucking arrest the kid that put on a car show 2 blocks away and did absolutely nothing wrong. That sounds super fair.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me, too.
For some reason, some way, somehow, they think that if they stop the car show, that would stop takeovers, which literally makes no sense.
Actually, you fix the obesity issue in America by just not letting people eat.
Easy.
I want to eat.
Yeah, I like eating.
Stop giving them
Why'd you
ideas.
have to pick obesity?
God damn it.
Anything else.
Shut up. Back to cars. You're better at that.
I'm not going to be able to emotionally recover.
Why is your face so red?
Because I'm getting hot. Jesus.
Anyways,
I am super upset about that, though.
Yeah,
that's
you should be
bullshit.
nervous because if cops are going to start just coming down on the car show host,
Yeah.
I mean, you host car shows
all the time. And
So-
I've actually had cops come down on me before in terms of telling me to like fix things. Actually,
Get the cars off the highway.
here's a really good one. We tell everybody unequivocally multiple times during the road rally that to achieve the maximum amount of points, you don't need to speed or you don't need to do anything illegal. If you do things right and you time yourself correctly and you have a little bit of luck on your side, you can win. But of course, you have people come and go in the rally that sometimes drive a little fast. And so when they get pulled over, the cops, they're usually small town cops because Wisconsin has like 3 large cities in total.
Yeah.
And during that time, the cops take it upon themselves to try and find who's organizing the event. And sometimes the drivers give out my phone number, even though I really asked them not to.
phone number is very
Yeah,
direct.
they're the drivers, God bless their heart, but they sometimes get weak in the knees when there's a cop yelling at them, which makes sense. And so I've gotten like yelled at, threatened, like damn near you're gonna come down to the sheriff's
You're
office.
gonna come down to the big house.
and we're gonna talk to you. And I'm like,
Tease me.
I'm like, no. No, I'm not, but I appreciate the concern. And they're like, you tell these people or you're going to jail. I'm like, what? None of this works and none of this makes any sense. But I have been on the other side of that before, especially like car shows too. I've had cops come up to me and blame, accidents or have blamed, congestion in the small town 6 miles away on me. And a lot of times it's like, I get the cops are always trying to do like what's safe, but I do think it is completely fucked when cops only try to do the systematic like symptom issue and not like the root cause issue, right? And the root cause issue is, here's a fun fact you may not know. If you do call the cops and you do want them to come to your car show and you do want them to set up some sort of like, order to, cars leaving or cars coming and going, you have to pay for that. And people don't know that. And a lot of times that charge can be like $50, $75, $110 an hour per cop. Per cop. So if you have an event and you want to have maybe 3 or 4 squad cars outside of each of the main entrances, it does not take long for you to rack up a $3,000-$4,000 bill. Yeah. So then when you're actually hosting a meet for free and you're collecting no cash, and then you contact the authorities to be like, hey, I'm putting this on. I know you guys have some cops in the area. Would you mind just circling around or maybe bringing one down just to kind of establish a presence? They'll be like, yeah, we'll bill you.
They're already billing us.
They're already billing you. What
Why?
the hell?
Well, that makes no sense. It's so
would you rather pay the $3,000 to have them come and make sure that everything's okie dokie, or just maybe get slapped with a $500 fine? Maybe.
You know what I've done to trick the system?
Yeah, I want to know.
I just actually no longer tell them, and they show up anyway for free.
Oh. Nice.
Because they get the calls that there's
Yeah.
traffic. They show up to figure out what's going on, and then they mediate the traffic for free. Now I don't have to pay.
They're doing their job.
Yeah.
Codes.
2 years ago, I remember 2 years ago, I had a bill for $1,600.
What?
In terms of total security costs for hosting a show. And like, I think $750, $900 of it went to cops to just sit there.
Christ.
And it's like, guys, I like you, but I feel like I'm already paying for you. You couldn't have just hung around for free or $25 an hour, something
Also, there's
affordable.
probably
fucking
there's,
cheese
there's
curds.
honestly probably some better shit they should be doing than that. Anyways,
Yeah.
just
It's
to
like
be-
you have cars parked for like 5 hours. Come for the last 30 minutes while they all leave.
Yeah.
Just sit there with a radar gun. Guaranteed none of them are going to do any dumb shit.
Yeah. And
For
I've,
30 minutes. Just
go park an empty car out there, an empty
Yeah.
squad, and
yeah,
it would be fine.
literally that. Like if I were leaving a car show and I just saw a cop car, I'm not doing anything.
Yep. No, 100%. You take.
I wouldn't even look if there's
I
anybody in it.
learned that because we went down to the Florida Keys and we were driving there.
Oh, yeah, you
and they
They have
would
so
stage
many.
cop cars. They're all empty. Every single one is empty. They just stage them there because there's so much tourists. They know for a fact you're going to go and you're going to leave, and then that's it. So it doesn't matter if you realize it or not, because by the time you already realize you're going slow.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
it
So-
just, it sometimes is just a little bit silly. And I get it. I understand that there are some stupid people in the world. I just don't understand a situation like that. Maybe we don't have all the information, but from what I understand, I'm sure Whistling Diesel is going to kick up an absolute fucking shitstorm, as he normally does.
absolutely.
And I'm sure something will get regressed or turned
host
around.
like the biggest meat in America.
He
or
said
something.
that.
He will take it to the fucking extreme.
Yeah.
If there's anyone that this could have happened to, and
it
like
shouldn't?
to have like a good friend. It's like he's set up pretty good to be like, hey, you got my back a little bit on this, and he's like, I'm gonna take this fucking to the most.
I'll take it as far as I can. I
Yeah.
know that's what he's gonna say, so I'm excited to see how it goes.
I do like that though.
There is a little bit of breaking news out there outside of that we're talking about. If you guys are curious at all,
I'm curious.
okay. Rumor suggests
Hurry up.
the 2025 Porsche 992 Turbo will be offered with rear-wheel drive and a manual transmission. I don't care. For $550,000.
$550,000.
I'm not sure.
Does
that's
it come
true.
with a mansion to park it in?
I'm actually making that up.
Oh,
Anyway, there really is nothing.
Pontiac's coming back.
Why would it come back?
yeah. What was it again? I seen something about Pontiac too.
Yeah, they had like a full page ad and like a
yeah.
magazine, typical Pontiac shit.
Yeah,
That's how
haven't
they
heard
come
about it
yeah.
at all.
Yeah, they had
It's
like
just
the
in a
they had, like
magazine.
the Firebird logo and
You
stuff.
know why they put it in a magazine?
Because they know their demographic.
They know their
No,
demographic.
so they're probably going right for like the 70, 65 and up, let's say, right? And they're like,
Tired
As
folk.
they should.
and then what they're gonna do is they're gonna release it. They're gonna be like introducing again for the very first time, again, the Pontiac G8, right? And then they're gonna like talk about all of it, right? And they're gonna be like $250 down payment. So all these old people, they're gonna take their little rebate and their little checkbook, and they're gonna write a $250 check. They're gonna send it to Pontiac. Pontiac's never gonna make it. And then they're gonna die, and that's how they lift the profits
Oh my God.
of General Motors.
How long
you
have you been
shady
thinking
fucks.
about this?
All I'm saying is that it seems like a good business model. That's the only way I could see putting an ad in a magazine makes sense from an ROI perspective.
Maybe it is good the cops are watching.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Elon Musk opened up a door of just completely fucking up profit numbers by just accepting deposits on
$100
cars
deposits, yeah.
that will never be made. I got people that are still talking about how incredible their Tesla Roadster is going to be when it gets made in 27 years. He's been talking about it for 16. Fucker's just never going to get made. And I think Pontiac can learn a thing or two.
Now introducing the Grand Am 2026 EV.
I just can't wait for it to be like a rebadged Camaro with vinyl on it.
They did that a couple times, so
No,
I could see
almost all of
again.
it.
That's why I said I can't
Yeah.
wait for that to be what it is again.
I did want a G8.
Why?
I think it was. No,
No,
GTO.
oh,
GTO at one time.
You want a GTO?
Honestly-
I think G8s are cooler than GTOs.
Honestly, if there has been a car that I feel like has aged a little bit better than some,
GTO.
is the newer GTOs.
6.0, right?
Yeah,
6.0 or
6-liter
6.1.
V8.
Yeah.
Dude, they're crazy.
it has that USDM syndrome
It does.
of the
Oh, yeah.
the interior is fucking
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
disgusting. You feel like you're getting a PT Cruiser.
Yeah.
Because you kind of are.
You kind of are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what they had left.
And that's one thing to portray. They are neat. They do have a big old fucking engine in them, so that's nice. But I don't know. They are odd ducks to me. I'd rather have a G8.
They have
personally.
that like 2000 like mid 2000s curse to the look of them.
Yeah.
Where everything's just like soft.
But
and
it'll
rounded.
it'll get nostalgic.
Yeah.
It's probably getting there a little bit now. Like you see that, and it looks so odd. It's so out of place that you're kind of like, oh, I like
yeah,
it.
it's like I just notice them all the time now. It's like that's a fucking GTO.
I'm just trying to remember, like, how did so many car companies get it wrong in the early 2000s? Like, almost every brand, right? Audi, everything besides the B5 S4 was god ugly in 2000. Then you had Audi, the TT ugly, right? You had Porsche and their 996, which by all and large was like the ugly duckling of all the 911s ever made. Pretty much everything from 98 to 04 was terrible, except there was one car
The Pontiac Aztec.
that was more gorgeous than I would argue any other car that came out in terms of sport car.
In what year?
Honda S2000, 2001.
Yeah, Honda killed. They were so ahead
Honestly,
too.
yeah.
Dude.
It's because that's why they were so far ahead that they skipped
Hey,
it.
let's
They
not forget
skipped the
about the
ugly.
Prelude.
Prelude's
Prelude
also,
also
dope.
dope.
They didn't start off the best.
No.
There was a weird era in there.
That's
But
because
the
the
2000s,
taillights.
the 2000s Prelude got pretty good.
I don't know. I just I look back and I think the 2000, I'm like, which one was like my pretty one? And I would say Mustang Cobra, obviously the most expensive, but like more realistically, S2000. Still just looks so gosh darn good.
Aged like fine wine.
It really did.
100%.
You guys will have to let us know what your childhood dream car you think aged like fine wine and what aged like the shitty decision to arrest a kid for hosting a car show and then a takeover meet happening a mile and a half away. That's so stupid. That just upsets me.
Are you nervous?
About what?
Are you high
coming
right
for
now?
Are they coming
Ever
for
get
me?
nervous?
There's a shadow. It's coming to get you.
I'm gonna call
You'll have
the
to
cops
catch
on
me
you.
first. All right? Fuck you. That's why I live in Wisconsin.
Damn.
Sorry, that was aggressive.
All right.
That was aggressive.
Thanks for listening. Get your parts at MartiniWorks.com.
We promise we're professional.
Need to end this on an up note.
Yeah, say something nice.
Say something nice?
Yeah.
You know, there's been a long time where I, was kind of questioning what Gels was going on with his hair, and his mullet has to be my favorite hairstyle of all
nice.
time. It looks absolutely incredible. And your beard is very full. Keep it up.
Thanks. Yeah.
We'll see you on the next episode. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.